Hello! I'm back and it has been way too long. I'm so happy to be here. Firstly, I want to say this is an unedited video, but once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will hire an editor. So please subscribe so I can make that happen. I'm going to be looking off to the side here because I have notes. So what I like to do is when I have thoughts, I like to write them down and then share them with you all. And this is actually how I was trained to do public speaking, which I have done a handful of times in my life. You know, honestly, if I'm speaking publicly, there is no editing, is there? So it is what it is, but I have my notes off to the side here. I am a Christian, but I'm a Christian without a box, essentially. And I share my opinions on organized religion and also and I want to incorporate conversations about more lighthearted topics like fiction. I love to read, and I figured I need those breaks with what I generally like to talk about. I think it's healthy to not just be serious all the time, and talking about books and fiction is a great way to be more neutral about opinions, and people can have different opinions about fiction, and it's generally, I think, fun and interesting to talk about. And not only that, I was brought up in an environment where a lot of secular music and books, movies, things like that were viewed as evil or bad, or could teach myself and my peers the wrong things in life, or could be a poor example to us. And I don't really agree with that anymore at this point in time. I genuinely enjoy fiction, and in the future you'll hear my opinions on some of the more controversial books I have read. I would have to say the Divergent trilogy is really pretty mild in terms of Christian opinion, or at least in my mind, it's probably one of the, quote, safer fictional stories to read. I would say it's definitely not for super young people, but 15, 16 and up, I think it's fine. I also want to say that I am not making this video to be a critic or a hater. I am definitely not a fiction critic by any means. I'm just someone who has opinions. So let's get into it. So I actually really enjoyed listening to the Divergent trilogy. I ended up listening to it on an audiobook. I didn't have time to sit down and read it. And I know I'm very late with that because the last book came out, almost like 8 years ago. But I didn't, up until a couple years ago, I did not read any young adult fiction. So that's why I'm so late to this conversation. I only used to read historical novels and spiritual self-help books. And I'm getting free and expanding my horizons. Firstly, I want to say that I actually really respect Veronica Roth as a writer. I thought that the Divergent trilogy had a really good flow to it. It was easy to follow, had good character development, an interesting storyline, and had relatable characters and a lot of good imagination. And when it comes to my young adult fiction, I'm not that picky. I just want something that's enjoyable to read. That's about it. I'm not going to get into comparing it to the Hunger Games or anything like that. That's not what I do. Anyways, there are plenty of other videos you can look up online about that. Even though there are things I dislike, mainly the ending, like I said, I respect Veronica Roth quite a bit. But I'm going to explain why I did not like the ending. First of all, I like happy endings. especially in the young adult fiction I read, one of the reasons why I have started enjoying reading it is it generally has a happy ending. And I was totally heartbroken and completely thrown off guard with the ending of the third book. I thought, oh my goodness, I was shocked. I've never been so heartbroken over a fictional character in my life. And Veronica Roth did such a good job developing the character of Triss, as well as some other characters. And Triss is probably one of my all-time favorite fictional characters because she was strong, brave, selfless. She was a good judge of character. She was a strong female protagonist, which is so unusual in fiction. And I just thought that Triss was an inspiring character. And even her ending, in a way, did kind of fit in with her character, but I didn't like it. I might keep saying that. I didn't like what happened to Triss at the end. And so there, not only because the ending was really jarring to me, I just have a list here of thoughts I wrote out. Let me read them to you. So, I didn't like how what happened to Triss. I'm trying to not give spoilers because I actually know a lot of people who still have not read these books. Y'all gotta catch up. I guess I'm not the last person. So the villain in the third book I thought was a weak villain, and I was not impressed with him. And I thought what he did to Triss could have easily been avoided because he was so weak. And when I was reading the ending of the book, I thought, Caleb's going to come. He's going to come take out the villain. It's going to be this opportunity for Caleb to grow as a character. And because Caleb was not a good character. A lot of people agree on that. Not my favorite person in the book, I'll say that. And not only that, in young adult fiction, or in a lot of fantasy fiction genre in general, the main protagonist takes the villain out. And so that's something that we as readers and viewers tend to come to expect. And not what happened here. So, and not only that, I thought in general for a young adult fiction, I thought a lot of good characters died. And that was really the first time I've experienced that in a young adult fiction genre. Like in the first book, Will died, and then Triss's parents die. And not too many main characters, I don't think any main characters died in the second book. But in the third book, you had Tori and Uriah, which were both awesome characters that I really enjoyed. And I kind of thought that was enough. I didn't think we needed any more. And not one of the things that made what happened particularly sad, and I'm probably actually going to give a spoiler here. I'm sorry, I don't know how to talk about this without. Or he was also known as Tobias in the books, who was Triss's love interest, had admitted that one of his biggest fears was losing Triss. And in the second book, he said that if Triss died, he wanted to die. And so as far as the ending goes, it was just so devastating to read about Tobias and what he went through. And I just thought as a reader that could have been avoided. And I actually thought it would have been easier if Tobias would have died. That would have been easier to cope with. And I thought maybe based on what he said about Triss, you die, I die. I thought it maybe would have fit into the story a little bit better, and thought maybe there was some foreshadowing there with Tobias saying that. I'm sorry, I'm switching his names. But side note, I don't know if any of you all who've watched the movies or read the books notice, but Triss and Four, their nicknames together say Fortress, and I thought that was such a really cute description for who they were as a couple. They really were, in terms of their ability to like protect and defend. They were really powerful in that way in the stories. And the other thing that was jarring for me about Triss was the fact that she was so young. She was 16, and I just, because she was so young, I had this expectation reading about her that she had this life ahead of her to live, and that maybe her and Four would end up getting married and have children, especially since both of them had didn't really have good, strong family connections. Obviously, because Triss's parents died and her brother was a jerk, and Four was not close with either one of his parents, so it seemed like there was a missed opportunity for redemption in terms of a family unit with them that would have been neat to read about in the ending of the books. But there are actually some alternate endings online that are quite pleasant to read that I can put in my description box down below. And I was also caught off guard in a sense by the time we got to the third book, which is Allegiant, by the way. Triss had really matured a lot as a character, because in the second book, Insurgent, she was struggling as a character and not sure if she wanted to live. And so it was neat to see by the third book her saying things like, I do want to live. Like she was finally accepting herself and moving on from some of the mistakes she had made. And it was really, I just really enjoyed her character development, especially into the third book. Especially since she had kind of reverted a little bit in the second book, and then in the third book it was like she really came into her own, and I thought I just really liked reading her and her thoughts and the things she would say. And the other thing I want to say is that the ending of the third book, Allegiant, made me kind of wary of wanting to read any more of Veronica Roth's books, because like I said, in my fiction I really enjoy a happy ending, and so I'm kind of wary. So I guess in the future, which I will try to be open-minded and read more of Veronica Roth's books, but I am gonna need to, I guess, do some really good research before I select any of her books in the future, because I want, like I keep saying, I want happy endings. And I do want to reiterate that I do respect Veronica Roth. Veronica Roth is a good writer, and but if you have not read or listened to the Divergent trilogy and you don't like sad endings, before you get to the end, just go online and read the alternate endings and you'll be just fine. I think that's totally okay. That's the fun thing about fiction and literature, is you can kind of figure out your way of coping with things in the book that, or in the stories that you don't like. I did listen to a couple of interviews with Veronica Roth, because of course this ending really just spun me into this rabbit trail of doing research about the book endings and listening to opinions. And Veronica Roth did say that it didn't feel right to her to write the ending a different way, and I do respect her reasonings for that. And not only that, Veronica Roth did say that she wanted to stand out as an author, and I will say that ending did make her stand out as an author, but with this ending in particular, it was so hurtful and hard to cope with that I don't know if that was the best move to make. but it did make her stand out. So I guess let me know in the comments below whether you think that was it. For those of you who know what happens in the end, whether that was a good move on her part or not. I'm conflicted about it, honestly. So, like I said, I'm probably, if I didn't mention this already, the last person on the, actually not. I know people that haven't read these books yet, but I am a little late to very late to this conversation actually, but I'm okay with that. I still think it's a fun thing to talk about, and I would actually like to continue this conversation down below. Tell me what you think. Like, if you've read these books, did you like the ending? Did you not? Have you read any of Veronica Roth's other books? List some book recommendations down below. And also, don't send hate to Veronica Roth. I just have opinions. My heart is nothing but respect for her. But I have, like I said, opinions, and I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. And that's the beauty of fiction, is we're allowed to have differing opinions, and that's totally okay. So this is more like, I guess, a court of public opinion type of conversation. At least that's what I want my commentary on books to be. I just think that that's healthy, because at times I might talk about things that are a lot more polarizing than this, but I do love to read, and I love audiobooks, and I am going to be dispersing my commentary on fiction, mainly books, but maybe some movies too, throughout my commentary on what I mainly talk about on my channel. So anyways, thank you for watching, and like I already said, please leave me a comment on these books and tell me what you think. And anyways, I'm just sending love to everyone, including Veronica Roth. I guess I am a fan of your writing. Yeah, I'm getting there. So anyways, but sending love to you all, and I hope to get on here really soon and upload another video with what do you want to see? My commentary on The Little Mermaid. That's a video I want to make, or on something about the church or organized religion. So anyways, it'll be one of those two videos. Stay tuned for it. Anyways, I love you all. See you soon. Bye. Mwah.